Lucifer and his angels rebelled against God in heaven. They were thrust upon the earth and ended in the oceans. Lucifer became the devil, and his fellow rebels are the demons today. Then God created humans upon the earth. That was the beginning of the battle between God and devil for the souls of human beings. The devil entered as serpent and approached Adam and Eve and deceived them to disobey and sin against God. Now, sin is of a generational nature. It contaminated the human race. God prophesied to the devil that because he did that, one day a human, the seed of the woman, would crush his head. However, after that incident, over the millennia, devil had consolidated his position upon earth and was running the affairs of the entire world. Then came Jesus, the promised seed of the woman. After paying the penalty for the sins of the human race upon the cross, he descended into hell, released the captives, and he got us salvation to be forgiven and to be reunited with God the Father once again. I have explained it in detail in another clip named Jesus, the promised seed of the woman. Please take a look. Now, the devil was mad because anyone that accepts the sacrifice of Jesus on the cross is forgiven by God and can go freely to heaven. So the devil wanted to wipe out the followers of Jesus who spread this good news to the world. In spite of it all, by the end of the 4th century, most of the known world came back to the fold of God the Father through his Son Jesus. The devil wanted to reverse the situation. For this purpose, he used Allah. Allah was a spirit that was known in the Arabian Peninsula at least for the previous 3100 years. Now, how do I come up with these strange numbers? For that, we have to go back to the times of Noah's flood. Noah's flood occurred around 2650 BC. About 100 years later, there happened a strange incident in the plain of Shinar, which is in modern-day Iraq today. That is called the confusion of tongues at the Tower of Babel. At that time, the whole human race spoke one language. God confused the language of the people to quell a rebellion there. People couldn't communicate with one another anymore, and they moved on to different regions of the world. Then, how do you think they recovered from it? Well, all over the world, fallen entities from the Lucifer's domain popped out of the oceans and taught languages and civilization to people. Guess what? Allah was one of them. How do we know that? The entity at the cave of Hira said the following to Muhammad: "Read in the name of your Lord who created man from a clot of blood. Read, and your Lord is most generous, who taught by the pen, taught man what he did not know." See, Allah taught Arabic language to humans. And this is how I know that Allah was known to people as back as 2500 BC. By the way, Allah doesn't want to be seen as a companion of Lucifer. So he says that there was never a confusion of tongues. And his followers, of course, believe him. Don't we all believe our gods? Now, the Jews and the Christians know that Allah has stolen all of Yahweh's prophets as his own. However, there is one prophet of Yahweh that Allah doesn't want to go anywhere closer. His name is Daniel. You know why? Daniel was the only prophet in the whole Bible who exactly predicted the time of the death of the Messiah and the purpose of his death, which is salvation. Because Allah misleads his followers that Jesus never died or rose again, this prophet Daniel had to be eliminated from Quran. Another point here, God has always been speaking directly through his prophets filled with his Holy Spirit. Did you notice that Muhammad is the only prophet that gets his messages indirectly through an entity all the time? It's because Allah wants to deny the entity of the Holy Spirit that can descend upon anyone and prophesy. So the account of Quran is not a simple account of an illiterate prophet receiving messages from an angel. It is a clever ploy that was hatched in the inner chambers of Lucifer's kingdom to pretend on one side like respecting God and his prophets, and at the same time denying the free gift of salvation God gave us through Jesus, and thus continue to lead human souls to hell. That explains why a new religion called Islam had to rise 700 years after Jesus. Thanks for watching.